Hey guys, Ralph Havens here, physical therapist in Bellingham, Washington at Beyond Limits Physical Therapy. And today, this is a video for runners, also good for walkers and anybody else as well, but especially for runners that want to optimize their running performance, their running form. And we're going to do some techniques that are quite unusual, but you can test it for yourself. And so what I recommend is to walk around, see how you feel. If you'd like, go for a little 10, 20, 30-second jog, and then come back and then afterwards we test it again. We walk around and see how you feel when you run, and just try it for yourself. See, use what's useful, discard the stuff that's not useful, and make it your own. So the first one is a very unique technique, and I first saw something about it when I was watching a video from Colleen Quigley. She's actually an Olympic steeplechaser. And she had a very, very unique way of loosening up her pelvis, part of her pre-race routine. And it involved getting a t-shirt and hanging onto her tongue and moving her tongue around. And so then I realized, you know what, I've got an easier way to do this that isn't quite so painful, because that's a little stretch to the tongue. There's a way to do it with a method that's much more subtle and actually has a very profound effect. And the idea is, with the jaw muscles and the tongue, there's a connection with the pelvis. So when you loosen up things in the head and neck and jaw and tongue, your pelvis loosens up. So try it for yourself and see what you think. So the way we're going to do it is, you can imagine your teeth, front teeth on the top and on the bottom, and you're going to take your tongue and you're going to start to just go around your teeth on the front and on the back, on the top teeth, just 3 times around like this. And then go back the other direction. Then take the bottom teeth and do the same thing. First on the outside. And then the other direction. Very good. And then you've got your cheeks, and take your tongue and make a circle with your tongue in your cheek. And reverse directions. And then try the other side. So you got your cheek and your tongue is in the cheek. So quite unusual, I know, but go ahead and walk around and see if you feel a little different, if you feel a little lighter. Isn't that interesting? If you've been testing this, you're probably feeling a little different in here. So it's a way that you can loosen things up in the evening before a race, or the morning of a race, or right before a race, before you start your pre-run jog. So give that a try. Now, the next one is a technique from John Imes, a physical therapist in Poway, California. And he has a technique called primal relief release technique. And we're going to use one of the exercises from it to relax the jaw. The jaw is very important to relax the whole body. And there's a connection with this deep inside the body. So what you can do is take your knuckles and just go right behind your chin bone and just push up just a little bit, just a little. Few grams of pressure, and then push down with your chin bone. Let your teeth be together, and your tongue is on the roof of your mouth. And you just hold it for 30 seconds or so. You can hold it for less or more. The tongue is on the roof, the teeth are relaxed, the lips are together. And you can open and close your mouth. If you were to open your close your mouth before, you could notice the difference. And just notice how you're moving. I've got another technique I'm going to put in the playlist. I'm using the thumb to help relax the whole body. So look for that one. And so, okay, so the next part is something completely different. I learned it from some Feldenkrais practitioners and other people in the movement therapy world. And you can try this. So when you run, you can think of a cord that's pulling you up and forward from the chest. In fact, you might even walk around a little bit and just see what it feels like to have a cord pulling you up and forward. And then when you run, you can think of your elbows pulling back. You know, some people say drive the arms, and people think to go forward. But if you go forward, you're pushing your chest backwards. So instead, we pull the elbows back, and that lifts the chest. So we want to combine lifting from here and pulling the elbows back. Now, the next part is something that you can try. If it feels good, use it. If it doesn't feel good, don't use it. But you can think about the bones that you sit on. So right here, and just put your hands on the bones that you sit on, just underneath it, and just lift it up a little bit. Not a lot, but just lift up right there. And then as you walk around, you could notice what part of your foot is on the ground. You kind of notice that you're on the balls of your feet more. And then when you relax your hands and let them go, you can notice if you kind of fall back on your heels. And then put your hands under your sit bone again and lift up, and just notice how it kind of lifts you and you're on the balls of your feet. So it's useful for running to be on the balls of your feet. Interesting, huh? So when you run, you can think of having a cord that's pulling you up, and the elbows are pulling you back, or pulling the elbows back. And then the sit bones are being lifted. Now, you wouldn't put your hands here to run, but you can think of there's a little lift there, a little lift here, and then a pull back here, and it just pops you up. So now walk around with this posture like this. And I've got another one that's pretty cool, is we heard about it way before we read Jack Daniels' book, but Jack Daniels actually mentions it in his book, The Running Formula, a great book. I'll just PR it because it is a great book. And it's the thing we base a lot of our training on, most of our training on. So now what you can do is walk around. You can also do this running. It's a great test for running. And just smile. And notice when you're smiling, how the feet are on the ground. When you're running, notice you might try it on a run. Go for a run. And during part of the run, just smile. You might even think of a nice thought. Think of someone you love or something you love doing, and just or your beautiful trail, and just smile. And then when you're walking, now frown and think of something that you don't like. And just notice how when you're frowning, your feet are touching the ground differently. Maybe a little harder, maybe a little more on the heel. Now smile and see how that lifts you up. So try these things. Think of pulling from here. Think of hands underneath your sit bone. Think of pulling the elbows back. And then throughout the run, even races, we try to smile at some point during a race, because it's an easy thing to do and it helps your running form. So give those things a try, and then look for the other videos in this playlist. My name is Ralph Havens. I'm a physical therapist here in Bellingham, Washington at Beyond Limits Physical Therapy, ralphhavens.com, and come join us. Look at the blog, and there's lots of resources there. All right, you guys.